Hi, my name is Bob Isley. I'm nominated tonight at the Writers Guild Awards for Best Original Drama for Television. I wrote something called Last Light, which was on Showtime, which was a death row piece starring Kiefer Sutherland and Forrest Whitaker. I also was supervising producer of The Equalizer television series, story editor of Crime Story, Humanitas Award-winning writer for Cagney and Lacey that I wrote, and I also wrote co-author of Birds 2, the movie that's on Showtime, and Vanishing Son. I wrote 3 movies for the Vanishing Son series of movies. Essentially, what I think a young person should do, or a new writer of any age, to break in is, first of all, to do the good work. To spend the time in school, or even if you're not in school, becoming a student of screenwriting. Read screenplays. It is a literary form, first and foremost. Then I would suggest, after you've written a good script, to send a query letter to agents as to whether they would want to represent you. And you can get a list of agents from the Writers Guild of America West, which is in, I believe it's in Beverly Hills, California. It might be in Los Angeles. It should be in your directory. I don't have I have the phone number, 310-550-1000. Ask for a list of agents. They don't franchise agents, but the agents that they have listed are wise enough to have signed the minimum basic agreement between writers and agents, which means they're not fly-by-nights and they're not trying to mess with you. Then you send a query letter asking if they would want to read your work, and tell them you're willing to sign any kind of release form that they would require. It sounds like they're going to rip you off, but they don't. It's essentially to protect themselves. Then, if they will sound professional, by the way, if you do that. Then you send a copy of your script in nicely Xerox. Make sure it's done with proper screenplay format. And I would suggest you send to more than one agent at a time, because agents are your key to Hollywood. But that's the business stuff. One other business thing is I do recommend that you register your work with either the Writers Guild of America or send it to the Copyright Office and copyright it, so you are protected. Finally, I just want to reiterate that doing the good work is important. I wouldn't mail a screenplay if I didn't think it was the best I think I'll ever do for a number of years, because you don't want to close doors, and it's okay to have a long apprenticeship. If it takes you many years to write what you consider a really good screenplay, better to start then than to send something that's half-baked too early. And how do you know if it's a good screenplay? Take the classes, take extension courses at college, or take college courses or writers' workshops. Don't just show it to your girlfriend or your wife or your husband or somebody that loves you, who's a gentle reader. Show it to readers that are a little bit tougher. But in the final analysis, don't lose heart. You've got to have what I call a permeable armor in order to succeed in this business. By that I mean it has to be able to let good criticism through. That's what I mean by permeable. But it has to be armor in that suppressive spirits, or those that would tear you down, you have to keep that criticism out, because there's a lot of people that want to say, no, you can't do this, when in reality, if you have the desire and you've got some of the talent, believe me, desire and perseverance mean an awful lot. Talent is a quotient, and that's God-given. You can't suddenly say I have talent, but if you do have the talent, the only way you'll really develop it is to spend time at your craft, and a lot of time at that. I taught junior college for 10 years before I started making a living as a writer, so that is also a good point. Don't quit your day job if you sell something. It's real important to continue to work and to continue to grow, but also to support yourself with a day job in the meantime.
Hi, my name's Bruce Taylor. I'm a member of the Writers Guild and the Producers Guild, and over the last 15 years have either written or co-written or rewritten a little over 200 episodes of half-hour situation comedies and one-hour shows that have appeared on network TV and in syndication. It's appropriate that Different Strokes and Rona Martin's Laughing are two of the big ones. Small Wonder was another one I helped co-create. Appropriate that I'm talking to high school kids, because I started when I was in high school. Believe it or not, I was 17, and I started writing for Phyllis Diller out of Burlingame, California, a suburb of San Francisco. I did that, strangely enough, by seeing her being interviewed on a local TV show in San Francisco, talking about her appearance at the Fairmont Hotel. And she happened to mention in that interview that she had writers all over the country, housewives and college students and blah, blah, blah. So I'd never written anything in my life. I was just a high school punk, and I sat down and wrote a page of jokes about how she met Fang, her husband. And I drove them up to San Francisco. It was about a 17-mile drive, and I couldn't find Phyllis herself at the Fairmont Hotel, but I found her secretary, and I gave her an envelope with the jokes in it. And about 3 weeks later, I got a note from Phyllis Diller and a check for $45. She bought 9 jokes, $5 a piece. That's all she paid. Doesn't matter whether you were a writer for 30 years or a writer for 30 minutes. That's all she paid, but it started my career and gave me a lot of confidence, obviously. I'd never written anything before. So through that writing experience, I ended up working on a small TV station in San Francisco where we interviewed celebrities and met an awful lot of people. Jimmy Durante became a friend of mine through correspondence. When I first snuck down to Beverly Hills, I looked him up and he had me over for lunch. I also climbed over the fence at NBC to get into the studio because I couldn't get in any other way, and I ran into a fellow who was in publicity who had handled Jimmy Durante in the interview we did in San Francisco. So I said I was looking for a job, and he mentioned that a friend of his, Woody Frazier, was starting a new show called The Della Reese Show, which was a variety show, and they were looking for writers. And that was my first job. I sold my car for $600 and moved from San Francisco to Hollywood, and have been here since 1969. As far as advice is concerned, I interviewed Rod Serling once for a show that he was appearing on, that I was working on too. And he said, never throw away anything. He said, that's where Twilight Zone came from. After I did Requiem for a Heavyweight, I pulled that out of the drawer. I'd written it 20 years before. So a good idea is a good idea. You may not be in a great position to sell it today, but if it's a good idea, it's a good idea now, and it'll be a good idea 5 years from now when you are ready.
Hi, I'm Daryl Busby, a television writer. My experience has been both the area of evening situation comedy and the last few years breaking into the children's area, having done a series for Disney based on Alice in Wonderland called Adventures in Wonderland, which was, as I describe it, a live-action show, kind of a sitcom with music. I was nominated twice for the Writers Guild Award in 1 year and won the award, which was nice. It's always nice to win awards. And this year I'm nominated 4 times in the category for the same award. If you really want to get into this business, I can speak really only for television, and that is to write and keep writing. That sounds very simple, but a lot of people don't realize that it takes an enormous amount of work, I guess, to get to the part where you're nominated for awards. That's the fun part. The hard part is writing, and you've got to have a lot of scripts under your belt. Even if you've written a terrific television sample script, an agent will usually read it, love it, and say, I need to see something else. What else do you have? If you want to break into comedy, one of the best ways, one of the sort of tried and true ways, is to watch television, find a show that's popular, that you can relate to, that you feel you can do a good job on. Then sit down and write a sample episode of that show. Keep polishing it, and then go back and polish it again. Because if you're lucky enough to get somebody to read that script, you're going to get one time. So if they don't like the script, you're not going to have a chance to say, well, I can fix it. Can you, they're not going to read it a second time. So get opinions, watch the show, see that script is as true to the show as you can get it. And then once that's done, write a second one. Like I said, you have to keep writing, and frankly, you have to be ready to knock around a few years. The old wait table, struggling writer routine. But if you love doing it and you love to write, then do it. Because even though they're always complaining, the truth is we need good writers in this town, and they're hard to come by.
Hi, my name is Gary Ross. I'm nominated for the film Dave. That's why I'm here, and in a tuxedo. They've asked me to give you advice on how to break in. The best way to break in is to write and write and write, and write well. And don't worry about the business aspect of this. They're all going to take care of themselves. Worry about what you care about. Worry about what you want to write about. Just pay attention to that, and everything else will take really, really good care of itself.